What's happening, gang? I thought I would show you some outdoor skills today, and we're walking through the woods. We're near that lake where I showed you some EDC gear, and I unboxed a new fire rod and their ferro rod and stuff. Well, today I was going to show you how to make a simple trigger for a snare or a trap or early warning device. You can use it for many different things. So what I'm doing there, gang, is I've got my bank line tied to the top of that sapling, and I'm pulling tension on it. I'm pulling it down to that stick that's laying across the ground down there. Then what I do is I get that bank line to lay where it's pulling straight, and then I'm going to make an angled saw mark down the side of that limb, so I can rest that line in there. So just deep enough to rest that line inside of it. Then, when that's rested in there, that saw mark will be running kind of diagonal like that, and this would be the back of that branch. Then I'm going to cut a concave spot. I'm trying to think of how, you know what I mean? A concave spot in the back center of that mark that's coming across. Let me see if I can. I'm going to find an illustration for you guys. All right, I'm back. Got a little mini whiteboard here. We got our branch going this way. Then we got your branch there. Then we got where I saw with the Leatherman. I make a little saw line down through there. If you can see that, that's where I sawed. Now, on the back, basically centered on that saw mark, I carved out a concave notch, or just a skinned mark. I'll illustrate it here to where you can see that. So that's basically it. You got your little saw notch that comes down, and then that would be back a little bit. So you put that saw notch in the middle of the concave notch. Then your toggle on that marlin spike hitch that I showed you with the little stick in there, that your line's going to come down, and it'll go through this notch, through here. This will be your line, and then your line will be tied to your stick here, and the stick is like that, and then your line is tied around that stick, and then you have some line left that you can tie across your path. You can tie it to a can. You can do many different options at that point. But this line that's coming down through your notch and is tied with a marlin hitch to that toggle, to that stick, is pulling tension up against that concave spot that you carved out, and that lets it stay there. And it'll stay there, you'll see in the video. And then with very little very little persuasion, it'll pop out, and that tension will rip that line up and either make a early warning system for you. It'll make noise so you can hear it coming. You know that something's behind you or wherever, depending on where you put it. Or you could bend that over, take a fishing line, tie that to the end of it, put some bait on it, put it down in there, run a line from that to your toggle that you tied, and then when a fish pulls on that, it'll undo the whole thing and jerk and set the hook in your fish for you. And this was just an example of how you would set it, and then you would run the tail end across your path, and you would have a tripwire there. All right, gang. Once again, here's how you set it. You take your marlin spike hitch you put in. You pull tension on your branch or your stick that you have, and you get that just right, and you can let go of it, and it holds the weight of your branch. And then you can run a tripwire over to here, over to a stake in the ground. And then when somebody trips it, and then I could tie like a tin can full of rocks or something, not full of rocks, but with some rocks in it to make noise. I could tie that down here off of that. And then when it gets tripped. All right, gang, that was my illustration on how to make a snare trigger or a spring pole trigger or whatever you would like to call it. Let me know in the comments if you can grasp the concept I was trying to get across to you, and if you were able to pick up on how I thought I tied it pretty clear, the marlin hitch or the marlin spike hitch. Let me know if you could see that and you can grasp how the knots are tied and shit like that. And yeah, I'll leave you like I always do, again, with a rib and a sip.